Hello everyone, welcome once again to Primetime Analysis. Now, yesterday, while at Kakamega State Lodge, President William Ruto made a veiled threat to the judiciary. And one thing that he said is that those judges in the judiciary who are involved in corrupt deals will not find space in his government, and that through his means, he will ensure that these judges are removed from office. First of all, before we proceed, take a listen and hear what he said.
Corruption is a whole industry. And I must tell the people of Kenya, as I tell fellow leaders, we cannot continue to lose public resources because of a few people who misappropriate, who steal, and through corruption deny the people of Kenya the use of their public resources in the right manner. That is not going to continue. Whoever wants to say whatever they want to say, the corruption enterprise in Kenya must come to an end. I know for a fact that corruption and the corrupt and the people who steal have a whole ecosystem and a whole enterprise, from those who are corrupt themselves, the officers that they collaborate with in government, whether it is county or national government. There are officers who are facilitating corruption. There are people in our judicial system who are facilitating corruption by working with the corrupt. That is why certain cases go to certain judges, because they are part of the corruption enterprise and the corruption industry in Kenya. And I want to tell you, all these collaborators, we will deal with them firmly and decisively. We serve notice to those in government, those in the engineers of corruption in the private sector who bribe government officials at the county, at the national, to facilitate corruption, and those who have made it a habit to go and hide in court with court orders, with stay orders, and all the things that go around in court. We are going to make sure that the judicial officers who facilitate corruption in Kenya must also leave. Those who have a problem with that, watuambie what we need to do with the people who are stealing the future of our children, who are sabotaging our development, because resources meant to build roads, to put medicine in our hospitals, end up in private hands. We have huge programs supported, for example, by development partners. But there are officers in government who have made those projects their private enterprises. That even an officer, when he moves from one place to another, he moves with a government project as if it is their own property. Those things, we will stop them. And we will not ask for anybody's permission. And we will not look for anybody's approval. We will just do the right thing. You come to Melewana, my friends. And it is as simple as that. It is as simple as that. And we are not threatening anybody. That is the truth. We are going to do it. So it's not a threat. It is a reality.
Now, if you listen to that clip, what comes out straight is that the president has started to intimidate the judiciary. The reason why I say he's intimidating the judiciary is because as a country, we have our Constitution 2010. And the Constitution 2010 has placed powers of every branch of government to be checked and monitored effectively. For instance, we have the judiciary. Our judiciary can be checked by our National Assembly, and it can also be checked by the JSC, Judicial Service Commission. And therefore, if there is any allegation that a president or anybody, for that matter, can have against judges, it is upon them to ensure that they place this hard evidence before the Judicial Service Commission for them to make a serious order. Now, for you to be sure that the threat that William Ruto made yesterday has started taking effect is the kind of judgment that our judiciary has started giving. For instance, today early in the morning, it was shown that Justice Alfred Mabea slapped businessman Jaswant Rai with a claim of 500 million Kenya shillings to be paid to Butali Sugar for damages because of a case that Jaswant Rai had with them. This goes in line with what the president also said while in Kakamega over the weekend, where he said that mambo ni matatu. You either choose to withdraw the cases, you leave the country, or you prepare to go to heaven. This seems to have rubbed businessmen the wrong way. And even the judiciary seems to have caught cold from this threat that the president made. The threat that was made led to outrage from Law Society of Kenya and even Amnesty International. But what did Ruto do when Amnesty International and Law Society of Kenya gave a statement? He said that he will not backtrack on his demands, and he reinstated that he will make those comments, and he made them again, and those threats were sent directly to the people whom he called corrupt and unworthy of being members of our business society in the country. My question to you as a Kenyan, do you think the president is in the right direction? What is really his end game? Because as it is now, the judiciary seems to have been put under pressure to make sure that businessman Jaswant Rai gets out of Kenyan business landscape. And in fact, it is reported that going forward, Jaswant Rai will reduce his operations in the country, and that the business engagements that he has will not be as vigorous as he had them before. This is because the president himself has made a serious allegation against him, and he has given him his warning. Last time when he was abducted, I made a video and I linked his abduction to the government. Things have come out to prove my point right, because if you look at how President William Ruto has been addressing this issue of Mumias Sugar, it leaves more answers than questions for you to decide and make a conclusive decision that the government was 100% involved in his abduction. Right now again, we know that Jacqueline Kimeto, who was having a case, an insolvency case against Mumias Sugar, has also withdrawn that case from the courts. And this one has led to the cases that were headed against Mumias Sugar to reduce. It may be to the advantage of the common man and to ensure that Mumias Sugar is revived. But I do not know how much business it is, because it could also be part of the politics that William Ruto is playing, because we know that he has a personal vendetta against Uhuru Kenyatta and his family. And therefore, we also know that there is a link between Jaswant Rai and President Uhuru Kenyatta. So if this is a strategy that he's trying to use to ensure that he scatters the business plans and arrangements that the Uhuru Kenyatta family has in the country, then it will not be something that is very beneficial to the common man at the end of the day. And therefore, for me, I believe the president must continue trading carefully to ensure that businessmen, even those who are in the country, who invested before, are not scared of the outcomes that the president can have against them. Because let's face it, in the previous elections, most businesses supported the government. And by then, the government position was that Raila Amolo Odinga was the preferred candidate to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. And if these people were in support of Raila Odinga, it is automatic that William Ruto will have a grudge against them, as he has shown that he is somebody who is very vengeful. So for me, I believe The thing that William Ruto must do is to ensure that he does not mix politics with business. Because if you look at our country right now, people are in dire need of help. Economy is shrinking. Our Kenya shilling against the dollar is totally continuing to be weak as we proceed with time. So there is no more time to waste playing politics. The president should focus on ensuring that he creates an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. He should also ensure that businessmen are guaranteed of their safety and security, that any business or any decision they make cannot be used against them in future. Because the kind of ground that William Ruto is creating right now, it is going to be a political instability ground where investors are not going to be sure whether they are supposed to invest for long-term outcomes in the country if businesses will be frustrated depending on who they support at the end of the election period. That's my take on that. And I believe even as William Ruto is forcing his way against the judiciary, he will not have space to totally interfere with business infrastructure in the country and make things go to the worst. Because Kenyans need jobs, Kenyans need businesses to work, Kenyans need investors to invest more in the country. Let's support our country and let's hope things will work out to the better. Thank you and may God bless you. Goodbye.